Gavriel.
Keep your feet off the
Everybody, come on. So first Mechila, that I'm stopping the whole, everyone is steiging and all that. Mechila, that I'm putting in our pause. Chaburah, this is the most ideal time of the day to do it. So I have to thank everyone in this room for your time and for giving me your time of class so I can give over the Chaburah to you guys. So thank you, personal thank you to all of you. Yeah? So with that, let me begin. So as you all know, tonight B'ezrat Hashem, we're going to go to our rabbis and they're going to give us delicious food. Everyone's going to watch Netilat Yadayim. Everyone's going to do hamotzi. They're going to have a fire meal. Everything's going to be great. And then it's going to come time for Begat Mazon. Everyone's going to be so B'ezrat Hashem, everyone's going to be so into its kavanah and all that. The Chas Hashem, it shouldn't happen, but it comes time and someone by accident passes through the Al Anisim and the Bimei Matyawa and they forget. And they're almost at the end of Begat Mazon and it just hit them, I just forgot to say Al Anisim. And they start tripping out, what am I going to do? Don't worry, I came prepared to help you guys. We got so in the Magen Avraham and basically every Begat Mazon, you can see that right after so this is instructed from the Ramah. The instructions that we forget to say Al Nisim and Hanukah, also Purim. Right after Sukkot Shilimot, you see, if anyone has a Magen Avraham, if you want, you can just open the Begat Mazon. You see that we insert the passage Harachaman Yaseh Aleinu, the merciful one, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, should do for us, and similar for all miracles and wonders. Kemo Shasita, just like you did, Lavateinu for our fathers, back in those days, this man is around this time. Do it. So you insert that, and then you say, so if you're thinking, wait, Amar Ashkenaz, the Ramah says that, don't worry, the Chazon Avadia holds this as well. So both the Sephardim and the Ashkenazim, we hold this, that you say, you insert this. So you'll see it. It's right after Sukkot Shlomo, you insert Haracham when you say it, and then you continue to say, and this also applies for Purim, B'ezrat Hashem. So that's how the Chalama said. Now the Acharonim come and ask a question on this. How are we allowed to ask Hashem to make a miracle for us? Mishnah Mesechet Berachot teaches us that it's asur to pray for a miracle. Straight asur. The Mishnah says that when somebody's wife is pregnant, and if he prays that the baby should be turned from a boy to a girl or vice versa anyway, it's a tefillah levatala and it's asur to do so. And you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to ask Hashem for a miracle such as. Yeah, exactly. The Gemara asks on the Mishnah, if so, we just learned a few parshas ago, that Leah, the tzaddiket, prayed that she switches the baby from she had Yosef, she could switch it to Dinah with Rachel, because the tzaddiket wanted that Rachel is zocher to have a boy, being that she was the main wife of Yaakov. She cared so much about her sister. She said, "Please Hashem, please, can you switch the girl? Can you switch the babies around?" And we saw that Yosef came from Rachel and that Dinah came from Leah, and it wasn't meant to be. Hashem switched it around. This is chut tefillah. And this is contradicting the Mishnah. We just said you're not allowed to ask for a miracle, special miracle like this, where you're switching the baby inside the stomach. Okay, so this goes against the Mishnah. But the Gemara gives two answers to this. It's Zeki like Leah, who was accustomed to having miracles like this done for her, on a daily, not a daily basis, but this is a normal thing for her. Such a miraculous miracle to happen that she switches the baby in her stomach. This was considered okay for her, but we're nowhere close to this level, so this doesn't help us. No one's even close to the level of Leah. We cannot do this, so this doesn't help us. But we see how Leah was able to. Another thing is that it was before the first 40 days of the fetus's existence. The gender is not fully determined yet, and you're able to ask Hashem even to pray for the which gender to fulfill the mitzvah. So this explains how Leah was permitted to pray for miracles, but the Gemara does not explain how we are allowed to pray for miracles on Chanukah. This is good for Leah, and we explain and all that, but how are we allowed to pray for miracles on Chanukah? So the Acharonim come and give us two famous answers to this question. The Bechor Shur, am I pronouncing it right? Yeah, explains that the Mishnah Brachot only means it's forbidden to pray for miracles that go against nature and science. The common way of things is Hashem created Teva, the world, that things flow in a certain way, And for you asking Hashem to change the gender of a baby, it requires for you to break that nature and for something abnormal to happen, and it's asur for you to do so. However, the small miracle of the amount of Jewish warriors defeating the powerful Greek Empire did not require a change in nature. It was a miraculous miracle, and like till this day we're still talking about it, but it wasn't something that like Hashem splitting the sea, or water turning to blood, or fire and ice being together. These things go against nature, and it's asur to pray for those things. But the miracle of the warriors against the Maccabim is allowed, and you're able to do. And according to Bechor Ashur, we're allowed to pray for things that are within the teva, within the derech hateva, within the nature, and not allowed to pray for things that are outside of the way of nature. This is what happened in Hanukah, and we are still praying for today. Comes the Yeshuat Yaakov, and he answers another explanation. The reason why this is a big one. The reason why it's forbidden to pray for miracles is because it takes away from our merit in Olam Haba. What does that mean? When you ask Hashem for miracles, Hashem wants to give it to you, but He knows it's hurting you. That's what you're not allowed to do, because it's hurting yourself to ask for a miracle. You basically juice out your scar in Olam Haba, and Hashem gives it to you paid up front in cash, and the scar that was waiting for you for eternity, you're basically using it in a finite time, only for in Olam Hazeh, and you're getting the miracle, but it had to come from somewhere. The schut of your mitzvot, the schut of something like that, you're getting paid that. Now, I just want to add a little thing that I learned, and I feel like this all applies to us. That us, in America we have this minhag that, if we're trying to make it to shul on time or somewhere on time, if you're in Collins Avenue or the Belt Parkway, we start speeding like 120 miles an hour, swerving around cars trying to get there. And then we make it on time, and we just think, Hezi, I made it on time, everything's good, everything's good, and all that. But it's something scary, but the truth is scary. And something I learned out that when you do something like that, you don't realize, you think, but you put your life at risk and other 20 people's life at risk, and you're okay, you made it on time, but you don't realize, in order for that, Hashem had to intervene and give you didn't directly, verbally ask Hashem for a miracle, but in your actions, it spoke to Hashem, I need a miracle right now. And I put myself in danger, and this applies to any type of sakana. You put yourself in sakana, Hashem will save you without you asking, but you are using your scar in Olam Haba, which is just not a smart trade-off, to trade momentarily, satisfaction for an eternal reward. So just know that, it's kind of scary, And if your friends are also doing it, tell them, I'm losing Olam Haba because you wanna swerve. So don't worry, make it on time. And this applies even going in a dangerous area when going some place you're not supposed to be, whatever. Hashem comes to save you in His ways, but everything comes with a price, So based on this idea, the Yeshuat Yaakov explains why praying for certain type of miracles is permitted and allowed. How? The Yeshuat Yaakov points out that the victory that the Maccabees achieved over the Yevanim, the Greeks, caused such a tremendous kiddush Hashem in the world that yes, Hashem had to take. They were Kohanim. They did some avodah in the Beit Mikdash. They had crazy schar waiting for them. Hashem probably used maybe some of that to save them, but it doesn't even come close to the amount of schar they generated by making the kiddush Hashem for the whole world. That even till this day we talk it over and we make Pesumim Nisaf for the miracles they did. Hashem made a miracle for them, and yes, it maybe could, according to this principle, that using a miracle, use your schar. But the return on investment was so much greater that it doesn't even come close. It's like you ask for a loan from Hashem, but you give Him back 4 times the price. That's basically what happens. If you ask for a miracle that causes a kiddush Hashem in the world, it's okay, because even if some of the schar was used, you generated way more than you yielded way more than was lost. So don't worry. But the ikar is to make a kiddush Hashem with all the miracles you pray for. So this is the type of miracle that you're allowed to pray for on Hanukah. So now we just gave the 2 common denominators of previous answers that we're allowed to pray for specific type of miracles. The one being from the Yeshuat Yaakov, that you pray for miracles that cause Kiddush Hashem, and with the Bechor Shor, miracles that are within the Derech HaTeva, the nature. And not outside of that, like breaking the nature. The consuego of Rabbi Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld was a rabbi named Rabbi Menachem Auerbach. He explains that there's a principle derived from the Ramchal, the famous author of the Mesilat Yesharim, and many other. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with the Ramchal, and he explains that that every year, during the times of Chagim, special spiritual forces come down, specifically during those times, and we're able to tap into those and benefit for ourselves. For example, on Shavuot, it's a time for Mekabel the Torah. You're able to receive the power of the Torah, and that's one of the reasons we stay up all night. And these are real things, big, like you're able. There's spiritual things waiting there for you that you can't get them during other times of the year. And during times of Shavuot, for example, we're able to really be like Mekabel the Torah, open your heart to the Torah. Another example, Pesach, freedom. You're able to free yourself from the Yitzhara, any type of addiction, anything that you're a slave to. You're able to free yourself to. Sukkot, we just passed through. It was the time we were in the Nenia Kavod, surrounded with Hashem. So it's a special time to be like connected and close with Hashem. So there's this principle that during the times of Chagim, there's energies in the air that we don't get otherwise, and you're able to pull that down. So Hanukah, what happened then? Nisim v'neflaot, miracles and wonders that took place back then, and you're able to, since the normal during the year is not to pray for miracles, but during these 8 days, it's a specific time to pray for miracles. It's another 8. 8 resembles above nature. 7 is within nature. It's a thing. 7 is within nature. 8 is above nature. 8 days of Hanukkah. These 8 days are 8 special days where you can pray for miracles that otherwise throughout the year you will not be able to receive them. And I just want to say something personal that happened last year. During this week exactly last year, whoever was here remembered that. After Simchat Torah, my brother was in the army and they recruited him to go to and he was in Gaza from Simchat Torah to Hanukah. That whole thing, I spoke to maybe once, and it was a scary thing that you're seeing every day. You're hearing the news. You don't even want to look at the news. That Chas v'Shalom, like something like that. And I couldn't. It was hard for me to learn. It was hard for me to, but just trust in Hashem. They're not doing anything. Just trust in Hashem, and you'll be okay. And it was very hard. And I remember my brother being in Gaza for months, and I was like, I can't take this. I feel a hole in my stomach, my throat feels cold. I can't always just day and night go to sleep. My brother's in that. He doesn't even have his phone. Who knows what's going to be? Who isn't he going to get out? They tell you going in and you don't know when it's coming out. That's how it works. If you have to a soldier. So I was just very nervous. It was very hard for my parents. And then Hanukah came, and according to this, I prayed, and I begged Hashem, please, a miracle of some way, take him out. I don't know, because you can't just, even if you want him out, you can't just take out someone out of the Gaza. It doesn't work like that. And I prayed, and it was this week, exactly last year, the Hebrew week, on Hanukah, I remember, that we got a phone call from the hospital, out of nowhere, from the IDF saying, are you the mother of so-and-so, my brother? And he said, yeah, and they're like, please come to the hospital right now. Your son's been hit by an RPG. I don't you hear that, you don't know, no one will ever have to feel that, but that's a feeling you never want to feel in your life, right? And my mom started bugging out. I grabbed the phone for her, because she couldn't even speak another word. I said, hey, what's going on with everything? And they said, just come to the hospital, don't worry. What happened was he was in a room. He was having a shoot off with Hamas terrorists, and then one of these guys, they shot an RPG into the same room he was in, and basically 5 feet away from him, the RPG exploded, and all the shrapnel flew into him, and then he gets helicoptered out, he's bleeding out. He gets helicoptered out to the hospital, and they remove all the metal pieces and all that. They take whatever that, and Baruch Hashem, Persume Nisa. Why I'm saying this over to glorify the miracle that Hashem did for me and answered my tefillah, and really, to this day, we can't. There's never enough to thank Hashem for what He did. He fully recovered. We go biking, we play basketball, we went skiing. Fully recovered after an RPG blew up in his room, and he went out of Gaza and never went back again. And I was begging Hashem, please let him come home, please let him come home. And after that, he came back home, he returned, we celebrated together, we lit the Hanukah Torah. One day before, he's in Gaza, the next day, me and him were lighting the menorah together. And I was like, you took him out with an explosion. There's never a limit to the way Hashem could do things. Don't feel I'm limited to, what to ask for. So thank you Hashem, once again. I sometimes, it flies by. You don't even remember the amount of miracles that happened to us. The fact that our body works and whatever is just a miracle in itself. That itself, I remember it happened this week, last year. So thank you Hashem. And this shows, during this time for all of you, there's not a person in this room that can't benefit from a miracle. Maybe you're samech b'chokol. Someone else you can pray for, whether it's Yeshua for a shidduch, Yeshua for a child, Yeshua for someone that needs a health issue, something even just to open your mind for the Torah, open your heart to that, open your mind for your mind, help you stay, help your parents be okay with you staying here, help you be okay with you staying. Everyone to their own. There's only 2-3 more days left. The Hanukah, sadly, it's flying by. but it's still years worth of tefillot. You really cash in tonight when we lock in and light the menorah. If you sit there for 30 minutes of your time, which I see all you guys, Baruch Hashem, have been doing, very beautiful. The night gives me a lot of chizuk to watch all of you guys. You sit there and you pray to Hashem for anything. The sky's the limit. The sky has no limit, so there is no limit. Just pray to Hashem for anything you need. Everyone, these few days you could really transform for the rest of your life. Because from here, many people have said, and till this day, they're benefiting from a Hanukah that they spent in Yerushalayim, that they prayed to Hashem and they asked for certain things. So use your time wisely. See that just from this thing that we learned out how many things you'll pray out, and the Yushat Yaakov and before they teach us like you're able to pray for miracles. This is a real thing. It's in the world. This is a special time that you don't get otherwise during the year. Please cash in. Be smart. And I thank you, Gavriel, for helping me prepare. Thank you.